The fog clung to Philadelphia like a fighter's sweat on the night of November 14th, 2011, when the city buried its Smokin Joe Frazier. The air was thick with the scent of rain-soaked asphalt and the low murmur of 1,000 broken hearts. From the cracked sidewalks of North Philly to the polished pews of Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, the world paused. Muhammad Ali, frail in his wheelchair, sent a message that sliced through the grief like a razor. The world has lost a great champion. I will always remember Joe with respect and admiration. George Foreman, voice cracking, called him the toughest man I ever met. Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. They all stood in the drizzle, heads bowed, gloves raised in silent salute. The kid from Beaufort, South Carolina, the 12th child of sharecroppers, who once slaughtered hogs with a left hook that could fell oaks, had become heavyweight royalty. But his final fight was no ring. Liver cancer struck in September, a silent assassin. Diagnosed late. 2 months. That was all it gave him. 67 years of grit, of rising from canvas after canvas. And this opponent offered no bell. On November 7th, Joe slipped away in a hospice bed, his family clutching hands that had once shaken the world. The funeral was humble. The initial burial? A temporary mausoleum, unmarked, a whisper unworthy of a roar. Financial shadows had stalked his later years. The gym on Broad Street bled money. Endorsements never came like they did for Ollie. Smokin Joe, the man who gave everything, had little left to give. Then Floyd Mayweather Jr., Money Mayweather, brash and unbreakable, stepped into the ring. Joe deserved a champion's rest, he declared, bankrolling a new crypt at Ivy Hill Cemetery. November 2012. The reinterment was a resurrection. The monument rose like a knockout punch. Polished granite, engraved with Joe beaming. 1964 Olympic gold gleaming around his neck. Heavyweight belt slung over his shoulder. A journey carved in stone. From slaughterhouse to thriller in Manila, from poverty to immortality. Fans wept. The city exhaled. Joe was home. For 14 years, Ivy Hill became a shrine. Dawn painted the crypt in gold. Old-timers left faded fight posters. Kids traced the engraving with awe. The cemetery, lush with rare mosses, ancient oaks whispering secrets, kept vigil. Smokin Joe rested. The hook that dropped giants slept. The world moved on. Until the spring of 2025, when the earth itself threw a punch. It began with Dr. Lena Torres, a botanist surveying Ivy Hill's ecosystem. Her boots crunched over moss as she cataloged fungi near the heavyweight section. Then she saw it. Cracks in the granite pathway, hairline at first, but perfectly radial, centered on Frazier's crypt. She knelt, ran gloved fingers along the fissures. Cold, deep, growing. By evening, she'd mapped them. Spirals, like the arc of Joe's legendary left hook. Days turned to weeks. The cracks widened. Wept dust. Neighboring tombs showed faint scratches. Joe's monument bled fractures that climbed like ivy, misaligning the base. Then grave belt split, a jagged line slicing through gold. Groundskeepers whispered. Visitors fled. Structural engineers arrived with machines that screamed like crowds at the spectrum. Laser scanners painted nightmares. Pressure from within. Movement. Relentless. The vault was shifting. Pushing. Seismographs? Silent. Groundwater? Stable. Roots? Innocent. Yet the crypt fought. One night, a security feed glitched. The slab lifted a fraction, then slammed back, dust exploding like a body hitting canvas. The cemetery board met in a room that reeked of panic and old coffee. Reports piled like indictments. Collapse imminent. The monument Mayweather built could crumble, erasing Joe's legacy in rubble. Open the tomb. The words landed like a death blow. Frazier's family, daughters, grandchildren, still raw from loss, were summoned. "He's earned peace," his daughter would have wept. "Don't take that." But the engineers were merciless. The crypt will fall, his name with it. 3 nights of prayer, tears, memories of Manila. They consented. One rule: no cameras, no circus, only truth. June 17th, 2025. Dawn broke blood red. Ivy Hill's fog swallowed sound. A perimeter of orange tape fluttered like caution flags. 12 souls entered the circle. Engineers in steel-toed boots, pathologists in hazmat suits, botanists with trembling notepads, cemetery stewards with faces carved from grief. Hydraulics wailed. The outer slabs, Joe's engraved triumphs, were lifted like gates to hell. Dust choked the air. A blast of cold, acrid wind erupted, sharp as smelling salts, carrying ire and decay. The burial vault had heaved, for inches off level, tilted southwest, like Joe leaning into his hook. The casket, hermetic, titanium-lined, sat crooked, strained. The lid was pried with tools that felt like toothpicks. Floodlights stabbed the dark. And there he was, Smokin Joe Frazier, 14 years underground. His face, etched in defiance, the broad jaw that ate Ali's storms. Eyes shut tight but fierce, dreaming of bells. Skin pale, taut, lifelike, no rot, no collapse. The left arm cocked, fist clenched, ready to swing. Shoulders still broad, chest still proud. Muscles defined under the shroud, as if he'd just sparred. The hook that floored foreman waited. Dr. Lena Torres dropped her scanner. My God, he's perfect. Embalming? Basic. Ivy Hill's care? Exceptional. But not this. The air inside was humid, electric, laced with a burnt sugar stench. The vault walls webbed with crystalline fractures, glowing faintly under UV. But the horror pulsed beneath his ribs. Where his liver once burned, a blackened, calcified mass, monstrous, the size of a heavyweight's fist, fused to bone, protruding, pulsing, slow, menacing, like a heartbeat from hell. It pressed against the shroud, straining the casket seams. The mass grew, expanded, cracked the vault from within. Dr. Marcus Hale, forensic lead, gagged behind his mask. It's alive. Diamond blades carved samples. Labs locked down. Results hit like uppercuts. Necrotic liver tissue, 99% petrified. Cancer cells, frozen mid-division, mutated into crystalline lattice. Growth rate, 0.3 millimeters per year, accelerating. Pressure, 300 psi, enough to shatter granite. Chemical signature, unknown enzymes, self-replicating. The cancer hadn't died with Joe. It evolved, hardened, fought on, turning his liver into a weapon, pushing against a crypt like Joe's hook against Ali's guard. The cracks? Outward force. The tilt? The mass demanding space. The air? Gases from necrotic rebellion. Hale's voice broke. He never stopped fighting. The cancer, it's him. His will, his refusal to lose, calcified into this thing. Weta touched the casket, tears falling. Let him swing, Daddy. But not like this. Dusk painted the sky bruised purple. The crypt was rebuilt. Quadruple vault. Titanium core. Carbon fiber seals. Concrete poured thick as a bunker. Joe was reinterred under a sky bleeding red. His family's hymns rising as the slab locked forever. Ivy Hill swore, never again. But the cracks healed by dawn. The ground went still. The mass? Silenced. Yet pilgrims return. They leave gloves, roses, tears. Some press ears to the stone and swear. At 3:33 a.m., the minute of the Manila 14th round, a thud. The earth vibrates. The air smokes. Joe once growled, I fought with heart. That's all I had. 14 years after the final bell, Smokin Joe is still in the fight. His body, armored in rebellion. His legacy, forged in stone. His tomb, not a grave, but a ring. The warrior throws punches from a void. Like if Joe's final hook cracked your soul. Share with the fighter who swings through hell. Subscribe plus bell for legends who battle eternity. Next week, the icon who sold their soul and clawed it back in blood. This is Tales of the Famous. Some warriors never hear the bell.